You didn't even clear it off.
No.
Well, I have beer.
Yeah, so...
It is Kansas City barbecue beer, and it does say...
It's made with real barbecue sauce.
This
Hi,
water
puppy!
Is a perfect 180 paired with Joe's KC barbecue. We're going to see how it pairs with Jack Link's sweet and hot beef jerky. Should be delicious.
Let's see if this thing starts, and let's see if the suspension comes up, and then let's see if the heater works.
Hi, handsome. And the mighty W12 roars to life.
Hey, I didn't have to do the self-jump starting, so the battery back there is holding a charge.
Yeah.
All right, you know what we do now?
I drink beer while you clear it off with your broom.
We go inside. I am sitting on snow right now.
Are you? It smells moderately better in here.
Oh, it smells so much better in here now. So...
The Beer Yeeter 9000 right there. Well,
Yeah. They're a bit broken.
Aww.
Usually they stay down though. All that button does is help them come back up, but, you know.
Imagine my shock.
After looking at this for a while, you have this plunger here for the interlock, and there's this plastic piece here that it's supposed to, like, actuate, and it is completely...
Missing?
Out of place. Like, it's not where it's supposed to be in the assembly. It doesn't look broken. Let's see if this screwdriver has the right size bit. Yay, it does! So we can at least take
that plastic
this
cover off.
Plasticky piece off if we can get it around. Also, there's supposed to be like, you see this little sliver of plastic there, like yellow plastic. That's supposed to be like a big loop that comes up and goes into the T-handle. So it's I think that T-handle's also kind of hosed.
Oh man, but it says W12 on it.
Fortunately, that part comes off. Hey, you know what does work though?
The heat. Oh, the seat heaties.
No, well, the buttons are here.
Oh. Hell yeah.
So now that comes off somehow. I assume.
Upwards.
A swift pull. And now you can see what I was talking. Oh no, it is broken. I just broke it more. Just fell apart. Okay. So this is the shift, one of the solenoids, which currently is stuck on, and it like pushes this and it rotates or something. Yeah. I think we just need to take that out completely.
Yeah. So there's something missing right here. You see there's two little clips for like a hinged something or another.
Yeah, that's...
I wish I had looked up the parts diagram.
That's the part that just fell off.
Yeah. Oh, this here.
No, it was a white piece of plastic that just fell down into the assembly when I bumped it slightly.
Love that. Do you have your foot on the brake by chance?
No.
In the off chance that I am...
No, it doesn't do anything. Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
In the off chance that I actually put it in gear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's very strange.
Yeah.
Honestly, that piece of plastic is broken. What if we just break it more? Because at this stage, this thing needs a whole new shift assembly. Hey, look, the water is mostly drying out of the bottom now.
It's frozen.
It is full. It was full of water.
Yeah.
For a not insignificant amount of time. Oh no.
What?
We're low on washer fluid.
Totaled.
Got it.
Did you got it?
Yep. Lost forever now. Anyone in the comments who's ever worked on one of these is just going to be screaming at their computer right now. The goal is to get this running so we can get it to the shop so we can look at shop manuals. But right now we live in a frozen hellscape and don't want to like...
AKA Kansas.
Yeah, we don't want to go in my shop and actually get tools. I mean, this piece is broken anyway.
That groundhog better not disappoint us.
This is simply not going back together. Like, the plastic is broken. So I think we just need to pull up on this rod now.
Well, if you push down on it, it goes up.
What the...
No, it goes down.
What is this doing? I don't think pushing... Oh, that just jammed this into place. Whatever that did.
We got black chunky plastic in there that's stuck in there.
I did also see that. I'm assuming that was part of the shift blinds. I forgot about that till now.
There.
So this is basically looking like something in the shifter failed in a manner that people were able to force it, and in the process, forcing the shifter broke everything else. But man, doesn't this thing just run smooth?
No check engine light yet?
Every other light except the check engine light. Though there was a code for there was a code for codes stored in DME2, because apparently DME2 doesn't just throw its codes into the OBD2 stream. Because of course, why wouldn't it? You have to like specifically query it for codes.
What'd you call me?
Hey!
More chunky black plastic?
What if we try pulling up on that stick now? Because everyone in the comments was telling me, just pull up on that.
Oh, there's more
Oh, cool.
chunky black plastic.
My goal is kind of to just get this so that it moves back and forth without any of the safety interlocks, and then just kind of glue stuff so that it's real dangerous, but the car moves, and reassemble it and leave it that way until I get a new shifter.
And then there's a chunky boy right in there.
Just to clarify for everyone watching, we're not breaking these pieces, we're extricating pieces that were already broken.
Yeah.
This is beyond saving.
We're just trying to get it out of here.
Oop.
Hey.
It went all the way through.
Really?
So see if you can lift it up more. Yeah, like that. Still not moving.
Ow. Yeah, so, that's what
it went down into.
And whatever this was...
That's been getting the tar beat out of it for a while. Hey, guess what? It's still... And yet... Well, there's another chunk hung out from there. Of course there is. Goodness gracious.
It's under this little plate.
Giant chunk of metal?
Yeah. And there's like a detent or a screw or something that is in my way. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah, mind you, these have been covered in water and are probably rusty.
Captive nut break off or something?
Lord, I hope not. But Lord, I think so.
So, multiple things. First of all, there is a second solenoid down in there that I managed to pry to the side with a screwdriver. So now the car is in neutral and we can put it in drive.
And reverse.
And potentially reverse. The other issue we had was that is ice in the bottom of the shifter because the sunroof was left open when this was driven to us, which is also fun. Here, we can plug these back in since reasons. Not that that's really doing anything. What is this little piece here? Who knows? Anyway, yeah, we can get it into some amount of gears now. So we're going to toss enough of this back together to hopefully make the car move.
Yay.
In theory. And then we're going to figure out how badly we effed up by taking those incredibly obvious screws out. Oh. Cool. Because
Not supposed to do this.
no.
To anybody out there.
And then you have these two chuckleheads. Our maiden voyage.
I guess let me put my very moldy seatbelt on.
We don't need safety here.
It is, yeah, look at that. Nasty.
There we go. Window defrosters are on now. Those weren't on the whole time. Okay.
Well, this is more than it has done.
Yeah, right?
I love that our maiden voyage is in the snow. I'll shit my pants if the TPMS sensors actually work.
I know, right? These are such comfortable seats. Oh, we didn't shut the trunk with enough gusto.
Oh,
that's fine.
It's mad about that. It's really smooth over this because in the Xterra, all this little snow chunks and everything are just like.
Oh yeah, it is incredibly smooth.
It's a shame that like literally everything else on this is broken.
Okay, but the star of the show of this car is the powertrain, and that part
actually works.
For 2 blocks, works brilliantly. The brakes are so rusty. Wow, that's like barely touching the throttle. Wouldn't you know it, the tires are flat spotted. They're Michelin Pilot Sport AS3 Pluses, which are what my NC Miata had. And pressures and temperatures are good. This car just sits at 200 degrees coolant temp because European car. Take a gentle corner. Yeah. Boy howdy, can you hear the engine a lot more than you should with these bad motor mounts. Yeah, it goes through all the revs. For all of its many issues, it is a functional vehicle.
Many
Don't look issues. At that. Don't look at that, it's fine. Wow.
It drives better than you'd expect a free car to.
At all, yes.
Yeah.
Whoa!
There's no way.
Speaking of features working.
Commence pooping my pants.
Oh, I just remembered we have like underbody plastics dragging on the ground.
I was afraid they were gonna come off.
Rip.
Can't even hear them from in here.
No, that is kind of impressive.
Literally
actually.
Not a problem. Oh yeah. Oh no, that wheel was kicking up snow. Look at this guy in his car cheesing. The guy in the Veloster was... You know, it locks the doors for safety.
Yeah, there's a lot of that here.
The owner's manual broke.
Rip.
Congratulations. The most Volkswagen thing ever. It's got a ringed binder and it's index tabbed, and...
I mean, what did you expect?
Like... Yeah, and true to form, I went to open the latch and it fell off. So...
We could solder it back together.
That is...
Look at it. It's got screws. Look
Yeah.
on the inside. We could probably take this apart and solder the doobly-doo.
I love that I pull the bin out.
The
whole door panel comes with it.
Yeah, all of the snappy-doos are broken there, so...
I also realize that
that is something I probably want to fix, just
this
because...
trim has been replaced.
Yes.
That's not the same.
I believe something about that is in the service history for this car. Because, yeah, originally, all of the wood trim in these cars came from, like, one sheet, one piece of wood. so that it was all the same coloring, the same, you know, particular burl.
I bet these vents broke, which is probably why it had to be done.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, the vents broke, and so they replaced this sheet here.
It's so wild. What? I love the little.
Yeah. Oh no! It gets better. Okay, now do the other one.
What is this?
More magnify.
That's wild.
It's been a few days. I've made it back out to the Phaeton, and I have made some progress. So here we have the shifter, and you'll notice it is a lot looser than it was before. I simply got this panel out from behind it. It just kind of slips down over those studs there, and then pulled the entire thing back. I think I had to shift it this way so that it would slack on the cable, and then I've been able to pull it up, and now we can see what lies underneath, which is pretty disgusting, but also we can see the plates that the nut plate, I think, I don't know if you can see it, it's there on the bottom to the right at a diagonal. So I need to get that picked up, and whichever one is here for the front, I guess I'll need to go grab a magnet for that. Oh wait, I have a magnet. Here we go. Why is it not magnetic? Are you kidding me? Okay, I guess I'll have to dig it out with a flathead, and then I'll try to clean out as much of this mess as I can get to. Unfortunately, this is as far out as the shifter goes. But if we look down in there, that black sort of cylindrical thing that you see is part of the housing that the pin that locks it in park. It slides back and forth this way, and you can see there is the solenoid. I have just been beating the absolute bejesus out of all of that with this chisel, and I believe I have staked. Yeah, that's park. There we go. That solenoid is now jammed open, so the car cannot lock in park anymore. Now, do not do this. This is very dangerous. You should never do this. This is a diagnostic step. I did an extensive amount of searching last night because I started new meds, and I was up till 3 in the morning. And I found the part number for this assembly. Dealerships say they have them on the internet. It says you can buy it. It's $900. But for a car this old and esoteric, I don't necessarily believe that. I feel like those aren't actually available, and there are none used that I can find. So I could get one. I could find one if I go on carpart.com and search for some common salvage yard part like a seat. I can find W12 Phaetons in a couple places. So I would have to get a hold of those salvage yards and hope I find someone kind enough to actually get this shifter out for me. But for now, this one will at least get through gears. However, it will also get out of gears if you bump it while you're driving down the highway. So this is definitely not recommended at all. But if I'm able to get this car into a sort of shape where someone might like to buy it and drive it, then I will consider trying harder at actually getting a properly working shifter here. But I think I need the shifter as well as the T-handle, just all of it. And if I have to piece that together, it's going to be extremely expensive. And I think if the salvage yard takes it apart incorrectly, they can break things, and then we're back at square one. So that's a bit of a struggle, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to fish out those plates. I've got some rags here. We're going to try and get the ice and water out of there, because when I first got in this car, the shifter would not move at all. It was completely frozen to the bucket that it sits in. And I think that's all because when the car showed up, this was just popped open a little bit. Well, I figured out why my magnet couldn't pick up that nut plate. It is encased in ice, so we got to melt that first. To that end, of course, the car is running, the HVAC is set on high, and we've only got a quarter tank to get this fixed before it is really stranded in my driveway. Interestingly, the car did not stop until I put it into park, so even though this is not showing properly, which is weird, this is plugged in. I got the front retaining plate out. I also got the rear one out. You can see just how much is in there. I'm going to try and get in there with the wet dry vac. See if I can break this out of its tomb a little bit here. Then we'll get the wet dry vac in here and get all that stuff out. And hopefully I can work those plates back into place. And then we can start reassembling. All right. 99% of it is vacuumed out of there. Just a little bit of moisture left, but hey, we're not gonna spend all day chasing the last 1%. Let's see if I can get this thing put back together to some degree. Genuinely, I cannot believe that I got this back together, and back together I'm using in quotes. Getting this back together properly does definitely require removing it from the car, but I got the rear two bolts in because that's where I had the most clearance by taking the retaining plate, which I can demonstrate with the front one here. I took the retaining plate and threaded a bolt through it and used that to fish it back up through the hole with the shifter moved out of the way. Then to hold it in place, I hooked it with a pick like this through the hole in the shifter assembly and use that to hold it up against the transmission tunnel as I lowered the shifter down onto it, and then I kept it held there while I threaded in the other screw. So none of that would have worked for the front one, which, whatever, again, this is mostly for testing purposes, and honestly, that's pretty stout. So now, there's another piece that goes on here. Also, this goes back on here. Here it is. Okay, so I'll get this back on, start getting cables put back together, and then everything should go back together. And I can actually turn the car off now. I can slam her into park and... yeah, still doesn't believe it's in park. Give back my key! It moves! Did a quick test drive, headed to the local O'Reilly's because it is completely missing one of the wiper blades, and that is kind of necessary right now, and I'm going to try and get a key for the, or a battery for the key. And also, I think, yeah, so if I restart the car, it realizes it's in park. These aren't all lit up. So then I can remove the key. As long as it actually thinks it's in park, I can remove the key and I can fool it by turning the car on and off. So that is excellent. Press and hold start stop. There is not a start stop button. Volkswagen, what are you doing? All right. I am late for work. My traction control light has come on, as well as a light that says EPC, and it's still upset about the spare tire pressure. But other than that, the transmission's in limp mode because it doesn't know what gear it's in. But I don't care, because I am cruising down the highway in sublime comfort in a heated massage seat that is currently pulsating my lower back. It's actually a pretty good massager. It's definitely not... Mercedes from this era just had like the big air bladder that just kind of moved your entire lumbar in and out. This thing's actually digging into my lower back a bit, and I love it. Ah, yes. I'm going to assume the code has something to do with this
yeah,
PCV hose.
Do you want to scan it first then?
Sure, let's do that.
VCDS.
Oh, yeah.
We also do have Otis.
Oh, that's right. We can actually properly scan it, because when I used my generic scanner, it was saying that there were codes in ECM2, and you have to like do something special with ECM2 to get codes out of it.
Plug it in, see what happens.
Assuming this can just do that automatically. Unfortunately, this hose is impossible to get.
Is it?
Yeah. So we just have to like cut the middles out of it and make something.
I'm sure we could do that. We could build it with some
like that Jimmy
hose or
like
something.
that Jimmy Eat World song.
Yes.
The middle.
Little girl, you're in the middle.
You know what? In spite of everything, it's nice to have friends.
P1923. There's your bank one sensor one. And then there's your SAI, insufficient flow. So that's your vacuum leak there.
Intermittent inactivity. That's interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe that under tray getting goofed might have damaged. Well, that sensor is way up top.
Yeah. Bank 3, bank 4. Okay, so that's what's turning on our...
Yep, MIL on.
Yeah.
Catalyst efficiency, probably because fuel trims are whacked.
Yeah.
Bank 4, sensor 1.
There's so many banks.
It thinks it has 2 engines.
I'm trying to put my shifter back together with all the solenoids plugged in this time, so hopefully I can avoid the transmission going into limp home mode. Ashtray wood trim piece just kind of popped off as soon as I bumped it. All the clips are broken, so that's been apart many times in the past. And I think this thing needs both 12-volt batteries. I went to move the seat forward, and yeah, it doesn't have enough battery power to do that. So that's fun. Meanwhile, over here, Ed is trying to hide the sins by brake cleaning all of the oil off of his new Golf before I can get over here and film how bad it is.
Plot twist.
It's not that bad.
That's
Plot twist, it's bad.
It's not great. What's up with our where was our exhaust leak at?
Oh, we can start at the front.
No, I think that's fine. That's supposed to be. That's definitely supposed to be.
And,
Uh-huh.
And then
Yeah.
you continue down.
I
You
don't.
come to this one.
Oh.
And then if you continue down. No, this is pretty good. Yeah, because this
You know, I thought the exhaust I built on the E30 was bad, but I'm consistently like proven that I'm actually not that crap at this. Well, for the two people who care, here's how I'm getting this back together. You'd never do this in practice. This really shouldn't be done. But I got a bolt, same thread pitch and everything, ground the head off, threaded it into the nut plate and dropped it down in there and used a magnet to fish it back up through the holes in the shift bucket, and then poked it through the shifter itself, and then set the shifter down while holding the stud with some pliers so that I could line up all the nut plates and get that stock bolt in there. Now that broken solenoid is hooked back up, so it's electrically present down there and doesn't seem to be interfering with shifting at all. That guy just fell off. All these clips are broken, so people just been in here a whole lot. I mean, the only reason that I didn't have to take I've never touched any of this. The only reason I didn't have to take all this off is because this shift blind here was broken when I got the car, so I was just able to pull and lift, and the wood's broken, of course. I was just able to pull and lift this off, but you wouldn't normally be able to do that. None of this is the way that you should do this, but everything here was broken already, and I don't think I've really broken anything any worse, so whatever. I'm increasingly getting frustrated with this car, which is, kind of what's expected to happen. In reality, this thing's probably a parts car, but I'd like to have a driving parts car, because then a driving parts car can transport itself to where it will be combined with other cars to help keep more Phaetons on the road. I mean, honestly, if someone has one of these with like a blown up engine or something, or like wrecked, this would you could pick this guy up and combine the two cars and have one good one. There we go. And then up front, I did nothing. The whole reason I did this was to hook that solenoid back up that kind of mounts to the underside. I got a zip tie going through there to keep it from rattling around too much. And then there were some spacer plates that I missed when I put this back together the first time. So now this is all going back together. And then we'll get this car up in the air and take a look underneath it, because I've still never done that.
Just like the inside that works.
Sure can't see much of the engine bay under here.
No.
Ooh, I was gonna say, does it leak oil? We'll never know. Well, we will know. The answer is yes.
Of course.
It's something on the bottom. It is not wet above the lower oil pan. It looks like it's just literally the lower oil. No. Is that the oil pan? Or is that the transmission pan? Whatever this is. This thing wet AF. Yeah, because the engine... Gosh, the engine is like... The engine is a foot in front of the wheels.
Mm-hmm. That Audi design.
Gosh. What do we got here? It's exhaust.
Longitudinal with a transaxle.
Yeah, and then it kind of sits like on top and in front of the transaxle. Cats, cats, cats.
All of them.
Really fancy looking clips there. Really fancy looking exhaust hangers. Finned diff cover. Diff is dry, impressively so. Suspension bushings actually look really nice. Subframe, no real rust. Honestly, the whole underside of this thing is super clean. I mean, a little bit of corrosion on this aluminum here. Level sensors are good. Rear shocks, not wet. Brakes exist in some form or another. A little minor surface corrosion back here. World's goofiest shaped mufflers. Likewise, everything over here looks okay. That was a sound. Fuel lines, plastic, fuel filter looks ancient. That's fun. So, Tyler,
Yes.
I've heard that people will often take out the drain plug under where the Kessie module is to keep water from pooling there. Is that this one, do you think? Yeah, I don't know where all this oil is coming from. Rear main seal looks like. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's not getting done.
Nope. You can see the torque converter in there. I like how it's engine oil pan, that sideways version. Yeah, I was looking at that banjo fitting with mild suspicion.
Yeah.
Look at all these fluid chillers and stuff.
Yeah.
Insane.
W12 activities.
Absurd amounts.
Here's your engine mounts right there, which actually look
Yeah.
intact.
Well, they don't feel super intact, but yeah, they look fine.
Yeah, that one's a little squished.
Huh. They don't look great to do.
No, they're not. And
Yeah, you said it felt like those were going.
yeah, they're pushed all the way back. Back to the back.
Oh yeah, I'll just yeah, what's it supposed to look like? These actually look worse.
Yeah.
Mmm.
Yeah, that's your vibration at highway speed.
Okay, well those are easy enough. Where's the shifter linkage at on this car? Here. It's right up there, and it attaches. Hang on, I'm gonna stick the camera up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were looking at it, and in order to do the shifter, step one was
Drop the transmission.
remove the exhaust.
Yeah,
and
so I think that's it up there. I can't really. I'll be able to tell better when I look at the footage. Oh, maybe I can see it from here. No, not really. But
So a lot of those vacuum lines I was talking about, they have junctions inside that tunnel where the steering rack sits.
yeah,
They've got like T fittings in there.
cool.
Yeah, the first gen Continentals are real bad about it, and that's
What if you just cut them and pull them all out of the tunnel and just route them like around the frame and back up the side of the transmission?
like a crackhead stereo install.
Yep, but no one will see it
Routed
because
through
it's
the door.
Yeah, but it's covered in like 18 square feet of plastic. No one will notice. Well, it's time to spend some money on this car. Finally, we're gonna replace this guy. It will hold a charge a little bit. It held enough of a charge yesterday for the trunk to self-open, but it's 5 years old now, and it's a start-stop battery. I don't know if that's right or not, and something happened here. But to get to this, you just reach underneath this big old piece of plastic here and push up on this tab, and the whole fuse block comes out with all of its associated wiring. That's really fun. I don't know what this module is. It's that. A Reifendruck control. I'm guessing this is a battery controller of some description. Anyway. There's a retainer that hooks in and is held down like that. So that comes out. It's a 13 mil bolt. And then you have to slide the battery this way, and you lift up on the rear most side of it while twisting it out, kind of like you saw. Looks like we have potentially some water damage. Whatever this Bosch module is, 3D0915-181D, I'll have to Google that later. It was pretty soaked in the trunk when I got this car. I'm not sure why. Real mystery. If you look on the internet to try and find information about this, all you find is that part number, not what freaking size battery it is. Everyone just gets an OEM one. I'm not gonna do that. Oh my gosh, that's metal. This is the oil separator hose. You cannot buy this. And as you can see, it is spitting vapors everywhere and creating a vacuum leak and all sorts of other super fun things. So I'm going to remove it and see if we can rebuild it. It's just from here across to here with 2 T's going to these. I think I can get these connectors. I cannot figure out where to buy just these connectors. They're used on so many things between Volkswagen and Audi, Porsche, BMW. Just everybody uses this style of connector, but there's no information about what it is, where you can buy them separately if you even can, or anything of that sort. It's very strange. So I'm gonna try and take this broken and taped over pipe off of here and replace it with a rubber hose. Seeing as the hose was already broken, I opted to just cut it apart in order to get it out, since I'll be cutting it anyway. You can see in there, oil water separator. It gets all the milky water and oil vapor out of the engine and into these swirly separators here, which seems to be in okay condition. So we're just concerned about this this hose, which lives in a pretty hot, confined area of the engine bay. And yeah, I'm gonna try and get some of this tape off, and then we're gonna try and free these connectors. After a mild amount of work, here's what we're left with: a pile of greasy, nasty trash and some connectors. Fortunately undamaged. I was just, slicing with a knife along these until I split the plastic and then pulled it off. Fairly easy. I might see if I have some replacement O-rings for these as well, but I guess now it's time to go shopping. Get some hose. I guess I don't need to get any T's because these all came off intact. And let's see, T's, hose, battery, that's the other thing. It's a day later. It's cold as hell now, but went to the parts store and got me some hose. All they had that was petroleum safe was this fuel hose, which is incredibly thick and stiff, but it fits on the fittings okay. I'm assuming this is for diesel trucks or something, some gates. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I also noticed that my oil dipstick was not all the way in, so that was very likely a crankcase vacuum leak as well. So now I get to take this heavy bastard back here and stick it back in the car. And then we'll see if any of our problems are fixed. Hopefully I'm not having to take any of that apart anytime soon. Is this gonna work? Doesn't know what position it's in. There we go. Nice. Curious to see if there's any... Hello? There we go. Different behaviors out of the car. Still doesn't think it's in park. Cool. Nothing. Okay. Interesting. Tire pressures. They apply brake. Thinks it knows what gear we're in. We have a traction control light right off the bat here. Level fault workshop. That's a new one. Huh. The engine seemed to be running pretty smooth though. Let's fire back up. Yeah, that is super smooth now. I don't know if that was a dipstick tube or from that evap system, but wow. It went from feeling like it needs motor mounts to I can't even feel the engine anymore. Huh. You all know the deal already. Heated seats, heating steering wheel, and a back massage, and this car is so smooth now. Oh my goodness, and the power delivery is a bit crisper as well now that the fueling's not way off from a big old vacuum leak. The level and traction control lights went off, so the only remaining light is for the underinflated spare tire, which I planned on filling up when I was putting the battery in, but completely forgot. And of course the transmission is in I don't know what's going on mode. So I'm sure this still probably is going to need a brake switch and it needs a shifter. Other than that, the only thing spoiling the drive right now is the those front lower control arms, and those are fairly cheap because they're shared with the A8. So not a terribly long list, and if that list were done, I would be daily driving this car and I would be absolutely thrilled with it. Unfortunately, the shifter means heat shield, exhaust, and drive shaft need to come out. The shifter comes out the bottom of these cars. Let's get on it real quick now that the engine's up to temp. Yep. It's not fast, but it feels like an unstoppable force of nature. And then the brake switch requires removing the steering wheel and dropping the steering column. I may have mentioned that already. That sounds absolutely miserable. Requires reinitializing the steering angle sensor afterwards because they decided to mount it up on the firewall above the column, whereas on every other Volkswagen that uses that same part, it is mounted more or less to the directly on the pedal, like right above where you'd expect one to be. So that's two fairly colossal jobs, but between the two of them, and I believe parts would probably fall at under $500 for a used shifter, a new switch. The switch is like 40 or 50 bucks, and then I think I could find the control arms for another 150 or so, and then this could be a really solid daily. And beyond that, there's some clips to fix in the doors, and yes, this door needs a new latch, so I would need to look into that. I found something that I think is the right part for like $60 on Amazon. It's shared between a whole bunch of cars. I'm sure the official one is $1 million on FCP Euro, but it broke in 85,000 miles, so I'm not entirely convinced of its quality. The pull in first gear, and no misfires. No misfires, and no check engine light. Well, I'm glad there's nothing catastrophic there. Quite happy to see that. we gave the roof a polish, and I also attempted to repair the leather on the driver door card, but I think the door card definitely has to come all the way apart for this, which I might do. I'm not sure. It does need a door lock actuator in there, but who knows if I'll ever get around to that. And of course, the day after we get all that done, it rained, and now the car is filthy. Delightful. But I think this is a good place to stop this video. The car is running and driving. It's reasonably cleaned up. I'm still fighting some weird battery issues. If I leave it sit for a couple days, I'll get in it and it'll say, please start car, which is sort of what it does when the left side battery is going bad, but the left side battery is new, so I don't know what's up with that. Of course, it still needs a brake switch and a shifter assembly. I have not had any luck locating a used shifter assembly for a reasonable price, or at all, really, on eBay or anything like that. Oh, and it has 2 engine codes for the emissions air pumps, which I probably will not be fixing. But I do have some parts coming for this thing tomorrow, so we're going to be doing some very interesting things in the next video, so stick around for that. Thanks for watching.